Hey, all you sexy people out there. My name is Scott Churchson alongside Mr. Robert Manning, and we're swinging a Wednesday night edition of Tales from the Film Set. So I hope you guys are doing awesome out there. I apologize for some of the boxes over here. We are still trying to get things organized and reorganized and disorganized on our end of the fence, and we're getting there inches by inches, snail's pace, but we're getting it done. Anyway, sir, how the heck are you?
I am great, living the dream. How are you?
Cool.
All the boxing and moving.
Yeah, well, I put the FedEx box or the UPS box out on the floor here, so that way at least I don't get charged for advertising on that. So or product placement. So anyway, we're going to be talking a few things tonight. We definitely basically have some differing opinions, I think, when it comes to a certain DC movie that is, well, A, bombing at the box office, and B, is a touted sequel or anticipated sequel to a movie that never really needed a sequel. So suffice it to say, let's kick this thing right off. Joker, Failing Adieu, or Folie Adieu, whatever. It's Folie Adieu, which I really think basically the adieu part was really meant as a knock on DC and Todd Phillips' attempt. Instead of saying Folie Adieu, it'd be more of the phrase adieu. So I really think that might be the play on words there. This movie has bombed. What is amazing to me about this, and I'm going to pull up the numbers right about now, if you don't mind.
It still has potential to make back its money.
It came in at a $200 million budget. It is currently sitting, as you can see, at $119 million, which, frankly, the most of which has actually come from overseas.
I know. I saw that.
So it is probably not going to make its $200 million back, plus expenses and everything, 500 million. I think we had predicted cash by a hair, and I think both of us are going to be wrong on that.
I don't think so. If the overseas keep supporting the movie like they are, now next weekend's going to determine. Next weekend, you're right. Right now, it's got one of the worst things, but I don't know if overseas keeps doing what they're doing. I mean, it has potential to just make cash.
Barely, but I don't think so. I think at this point it lost its first week. The reviews are already in. The response is already in.
We haven't seen second week. That's what I'm waiting.
So you think it's gonna rebound second week?
Yeah, I don't know. I think because there's been a lot of people analyzing the movie after trashing the movie, and people are kind of seeing a different side of this movie that's making this make more sense than nonsense, and it's been interesting.
Here's the thing. I think time will make it more forgiving than it is right now. It's reactionary. But time is also not going to make it profitable. No. And that's where the issue is going to be, because a lot of people are not going to spend $23 a ticket to go see this movie when they can wait for it to come out on Max by Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Right.
There's enough to keep you occupied right now. But, Joker, Failing Adieu.
First off, the title.
Yeah.
The title alone, it's not something that just rolls off the tongue, not something I can just pronounce. So I think that's got something against it right there, because most people are just going to say, I saw Joker 2. They're not going to say, I saw Joker for da-da-da-da, say that 3 times fast, right? It's like tongue twister. But so non-spoiler, because I know we don't really want to get into spoilers. Thing that I've been basically, it's I know we're talking about why this is such a failed movie, and there are some disagreements right now. You're right, because Mr. Manning feels like if a person is given, first off, if the director said no, we said here's $200 million, and he said no, it's on him for saying yes. Doesn't matter if they kept coming to him. You have a yes or no answer. And yes, I understand that the whole logic is, yes, he gave a movie. But the irony of the movie is it about a movie that he didn't want to film.
Here's the thing. Do you know why we got a second Jurassic Park book?
Wait, book?
Why we got Jurassic Park Lost World, the book by Michael Crichton?
I didn't even know there was books.
Yeah, the first one was Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. It was adapted into the movie.
Okay.
And then Steven Spielberg said, we're doing a sequel.
Okay.
You have one of two choices. You can either write the book for it, or we're going to do it without your input. And you know what Crichton did? He wrote the book.
Okay.
So sometimes you have certain situations where you can get pressured into doing something or forced into it against kind of your better judgment, just because of the fact that, you know, somebody says you got to do it or we're doing it without you. So you have to protect your legacy with the, you know, with the project. Now, Todd Phillips has on one hand decided no longer to do comedy, but B, has always been the comedy type, you know, going back to Road Trip, Old School, Starsky and Hutch, the Hangover movies, you know. Oh, the Hangover movie is a great example because it's showing the perfect case of diminishing returns. First one was great. Second one was Third one was a little weird, you know. So he's not really sequel strong. But
and he didn't want to come back for the third one.
Oh, I don't blame him. You know, I don't think he wanted to come back for the second one, but he's contractually obligated in case it came to it. But his problem in this case is they were going to make this movie and they wanted him involved. So he basically said, pay me this. And they're like, okay. And they did, you know. And here's the thing. If you don't really care about the project, but someone gives you $200 million to play with, you know, for a year's worth of work, you know, you play with it, you do what you got to do, and then you just move on. You know, with somebody of Todd Phillips' legacy and pedigree, it is not going to hurt his resume because of the fact that he has such a long list of, you know, of projects done. He is well respected within the industry, and a lot of actors like to work with him by virtue of the fact that he is very short. You know, the hours that were on Joker 1 were 10-hour shoot days. You know, that is glorious. Now, granted, the days on Joker 2 that I missed because of COVID were 14 and a half and 15 and a half hours. That would have been nice. But in this case, he is not going to have a hard time finding work because he has such a pedigree behind him that he can afford himself a little bit of a stinker.
I don't know. I slightly disagree because it's like somebody's going to see this movie. Right now, Joker is the #1 worst comic book movie. It's even, you know, it's as the worst comic book movie right now. Do you not think that'll, like, for example, he had $200 million to work with. Isn't that going to make other companies to go, well, you had $200 million and you made a flop. We're not going to give you as much of a budget?
I don't think he cares. I don't think he did not make Joker because of the budget involved. He made a movie he wanted to make.
And my question is Todd, did he do the script or would it have been somebody else that did the script?
He probably did the script too. He probably would have demanded creative control over that.
Because I could forgive him if he didn't do the script. Because then it wouldn't exactly be his fault.
He did write the script for Joker Folie à Deux. Okay. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because it's like when and here's another bad. But when the movie Madam Web came out, yeah, you couldn't exactly blame the director because there was somebody else doing the script. I don't know. I feel like if you didn't care about the project, then you should have let somebody else take control. And, you know, you've got right now, we're in struggling times, you know, with the economy going up as it is. And people, like you said, are wasting $18 to $20. And then if you're bringing a family, you're spending about $100 to $200. And you're watching a movie that's trash. And, you know, it's pretty bad when you got people that were saving up for the movie, then found out how bad it was. And then it's like, okay, I'm not, you know, I'll save that for Venom 3. Which, say what you want to say about Venom 3, I think it's going to be a great movie, but, you know.
But in this case, like I said, Todd Phillips is in many ways the king of the independent. Joker 1, he made $1 billion on a $55 million budget.
Oh, yeah.
People will notice, people will pay attention to that. Studios are going to look at that. They're going to look, what this does is this makes James Gunn look worse than Todd Phillips. You know, I'm going to pull up an article that I found. So,
I mean, you're right. $55 million made $1 billion, but when he was given almost 4 times that amount, not going to make anywhere near.
But that's not. But that, like I said, that is not his problem. He made the movie. He made the movie that they wanted to make. Now, in this case here, yeah, Todd Phillips wanted nothing to do with DC on the $2 million misfire. So if you look at, let me scroll down to this. This is from the Variety. Wanted nothing to do with DC on this. When Sarah say the duo's glaring absence for a film was based on one of the biggest draws of DC canon, underscores the dysfunctional dynamic that played out behind the scenes in the ill-fated DC musical. Todd Phillips wanted nothing to do with DC during the making of the film, says one agent familiar with the director's unique carve-out, which allowed him to bypass any oversight from the brand's gatekeepers. Although Gunn has publicly supported the film on social media, Phillips has distanced himself from DC. As the animated title sequence unschooled, in the title was in the opening minutes, it became apparent that Phillips had just given DC the middle finger. Yeah. There was no DC Studios logo. He wants to make what he wants to make, and in this case, this is not going to hurt. Now, let me know what you guys think. This is not going to hurt Todd Phillips. He has 25 years of movie experience underneath him. Like I said, you go all the way back to Road Trip, with Breckenmeyer, Sean William Scott, the brother from Royal Pains, I'm forgetting the name, and DJ as well. That was an unexpected hit out of nowhere, but he built himself up from that to make Starsky and Hutch, which is a criminally underappreciated movie. Old School, which is one of my favorite of the Brat Pack. The Hangover movies. You want to talk the Hangover movie? Okay, this is my story with Hangover. I had just gotten out of a marriage, or was actually in separation, to a marriage to a woman who's just like Melissa in that movie. And the first time I saw it was on a flight to Las Vegas for the first time. Tell me Hangover did not resonate with me on several fronts. And it became an absolute iconic classic hit. The second one was okay. Third one was weird. But he has established himself, despite the struggles with, say, the second and third Hangover movie, to continue to get work. And Joker, the movie he wanted to make under his rules and his system, made back 20 times the amount that it went into it. That is what studios are going to look at. They're going to be like, okay, how can we work better with this guy and not give him the constraints on this? We can put in a no sequel contract. We can give him certain reins in certain ways, but this is not going to hurt his career one iota.
But
Absolutely.
See that, I don't know. I'll always have the different opinion, but it's like, yeah, you see a person brought Joker, $55 million, only took $55 million and made $1 billion. But then you give them the budget of $200 million, and this is, like you said, it'll barely make $200 million if it makes it.
He got paid. Joaquin Phoenix got $20 million. Lady Gaga got, I believe, around 11 or 12 million. They got theirs.
Right. I understand he delivered a project, but why give something crappy if it's got your name on it? I understand he's got a resume, but this, I think, is going to backfire him in the future.
All right.
You're going to have people that are going to be, the next movie he makes may not support it because of his decision with this. There's going to be some backlash.
What I think his next movie is going to be, it's going to be like a small little independent film. It might have a couple of name actors in there, like a Liev Schreiber or something. Just a small little heartwarming, thing. He doesn't want to do comedy anymore. That's fine. It's his right. But I think he's going to go small. I think he's going to go like really small, like like Netflix, and not even theater small.
And Lady Gaga's performance in this movie, that's been one of the things that has been people liking the movie. People may call, not going to call any names out, but people may say she's a mediocre actress, but I think she's a great actress. Dude. Yes, The Star is Born is a musical, but that's still a movie. You still have to act.
Listen, how many movies did Elvis do?
A bunch.
Like 20. How many movies did Elvis sing in? About 20. It was one of those things that, Elvis was just, we're just going to put him in a situation, possibly on a beach, and give him some lines to sing.
And you really couldn't put Margot Robbie in this, because the people are like, well, why isn't Margot Robbie in this? Because this is a different universe.
You wanted a different Harley Quinn on this.
Yeah,
and that made sense, and that was okay.
you
You know,
can't just go put Margot Robbie. And if
she
you
might
go
have said no.
watch the first one, in a way, because it has been getting a little backlash, in a way, if you go rewatch the first one, it makes sense that this one's a sequel. I mean, a musical. Because he's always had like that music in him. Like, you know, when he's hearing music, he's putting his hands out like this. So he had that music, and that's kind of why they went the musical route. It wasn't because you got Lady Gaga.
Which I get that part of it, and maybe, you know, Todd Phillips wanted to do a musical because he hadn't, you know, expand his reach to maybe get some kind of a, I don't know, another Les Mis or something, or another Cats. And maybe that's where he wanted to go with it. I don't know. But this movie, I think, in time will develop its audience. People will appreciate it for its own independent, but it takes a little time. You know, people talk about how amazing The Empire Strikes Back was. The Empire Strikes Back was hated when it came out.
Right.
People hated that movie. People hated the reveal, you know, that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Sorry, spoilers. You know, I know. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time in Sixth Sense. But yeah, when Empire Strikes Back came out, a lot of people were pissed off at it because they didn't like the ending of it. They didn't like the reveal. They didn't like it. It was only in time that people look at it and be like, okay, this is a very good movie. So people's immediate reaction to a sequel can be a reason why people hate it.
I don't think Joker is going to get that justification. Now, I haven't exactly seen it, so I know that opinion's a little biased. But we'll see. I don't think it'll get that much love. Unless they do. I know Todd's not doing a third movie. But that doesn't mean they won't do a third movie. And I don't know, with the ending, which I'm not going to give spoilers, that kind of screwed DC in a way.
The ending can open up to a spin-off, I think.
Right. Yeah.
You know, in which case you can get a younger actor.
That's cheaper.
Who's the British kid that from Stranger Things season 4?
Oh, not okay. Never mind. I thought you were gonna say
Joe something.
Oh, Joseph Quinn.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Joe Quinn could actually lead a Joker 3 if it came to it.
You know, I would back that.
You know, I think that would work there, and you can get younger. You can get a little cheaper. You know, I mean, he did Quiet Place 3 or prequel or whatever that was.
Well, the problem is you would have to use you could, but the only issue is I think we actually saw a face reveal of who they wanted. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I've only heard things. But anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like if somebody gives you $200 million and you're not going to do something with the movie, you should have just gave it to somebody else. I understand where
Florida's like, we'll take some of that right now. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, be it Scott, we'll take $200 million. We'll go make you the greatest DC movie.
Dude, listen, I'm not going to be greedy. I'll take a tenth of it. It's okay.
You'll take what?
Listen, I'll take 20. It's all right. I'll deal with it. You know, I'll figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, you know, I'll take 10 million to be nice.
I'll take 9.
Okay.
You're like, I'll take 8. I'll take 7. I'll take 6. Yeah, no, but in this case here,
I mean, 10.
You look at it from the standpoint of, like I said, $200 million spent on that.
We can check
$350 million, by the way, on this puppy. And this news just broke also. There. Captain America Brave New World bombs at test screening.
Wait, so hold on. How is it bombed when it doesn't even come out until February?
Because they're doing early screenings of it in private audiences. So these things can be set up ahead of time. Certain people have the ability to get in for early test screenings and things like that. So a smart group of people have actually gone in and seen the test footage and for Captain America Brave New World, which at $350 million. So you talk Joker 2 at 200? No. Captain America 4 is like, hold my beer. I'll take this. Thank you.
And I bet you I know what took up most of their budget.
Reshoots.
Well, that and Harrison Ford.
Here's the thing. Harrison Ford, I don't think took up a lot. I mean, he probably took up like 15 or 20, but Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford. You know what you're going to get out of him. You know, he is a consummate professional. So he's not the type of guy who's going to flub his lines or anything. I think it's just one of those things that they had the reshoots will kill you on a project, especially a comic project. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we had inner sights in an interview that his stuff had to be ADR because he did flub up lines. With our interview with John Bailey, he mentioned Harrison Ford and how
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying how John had to come and do Harrison Ford's lines, even though Harrison Ford was paid. You know, he came in, whatever John was saying, I think he said he came in drunk and, you know, they had to repay John to do Harrison Ford's lines. So, yeah. I mean, I get, but what do you mean by reshoots? How long has this movie been filming?
Oh, it was supposed to have been released already in July.
But so it was just delayed by a year? Is that what I'm hearing? And did it have to do anything with the actor passing away that was originally supposed to be General Ross?
No, I mean, that's an easy replacement on that. That's not a problem. No, but reshoots in this case here, the latest ones were 22. The latest reshoots are 22 days. But yeah, Brave New World was supposed to be released July 25th. Now or 26th. Now it's moved to February 14th.
Yeah.
Let's see. Marvel's other productions, Thunderbolt, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and Blade were forced to shut down or delay production, with the latter not making it to filming. So, yeah. So the problem with this is the problem with reshoots. Right off the bat, you have to pay all of your crew whatever their rates are.
Okay.
You know, so if they walk in the door $300, $400, $500 a day, you know, for starting, and you've got a crew of 200 to sometimes 300 people in this case. Once you hit that 8-hour mark, then they're getting into overtime. Once they actually hit 6 hours past an actual sit-down meal, then they start getting meal penalties. Then you have night premium, and then you have, you know, all of these other bonuses in there. Transpo is paid $100 an hour for overtime, even if they're sleeping in the car doing nothing. Now, some of those guys do literally 21 hours a day sometimes. So they will get $1,300 of overtime for each transpo guy above their actual personal rate. You know, this stuff adds up hardcore. Not to mention, obviously, whatever Anthony Mackie's getting, Liv Tyler, Harrison Ford, like you mentioned. All of those actors are now basically getting it as well.
And Mark, or did you say Ruffalo? Mark Ruffalo?
No, I didn't. But yeah, I mean, I fired off the three because, you know, those are kind of your more or less your sort of big three. But yeah, Hulk too. But yeah, good.
Does that alone, when they do like the CGI of the Hulk and then you got Red Hulk?
Oh yeah, whatever they're gonna do. You know, if they're on set, they're getting paid.
Yeah, but
and here's the other side of it. Not just that, but whatever day players you need, whatever background actors you're using, you know, whatever lights, grip, camera, electrical, you know, VFX, you know, all of that stuff raises cost. And obviously, Red Hulk, spoiler, you know, is going to be a big CGI haul. But you know, but the fact that at 350 to possibly up to 375, I've even heard 400, and this movie is now bombing at test audiences with all of that going into it. This is poised to be the worst and the biggest Marvel fail ever.
And last question, because it failed in test screenings, they have time to fix the movie, correct?
They do, but the problem is this movie is due out in 4 months. So you need to come up with a new script. You need to come up with film, you know, basically scouting location, getting the actors there, filming all this stuff, and then post-production on top of it. You're going to be doing probably 6 and God help you 7 days a week, which remember what I mentioned about overtime. Now you have crew working 2 extra days on their day off. That is a massive boost up. It is way above, because when you work a 6th day, it is like it's like 3 times more than what your day rate typically is.
Wow.
Just to be able to walk in the door. So some productions here in New York have done 6-day weeks. These guys are like, we took it because of the fact that we're going to get paid so well.
Okay.
Oh yeah. This is a mess. This is an absolute mess.
I'm wondering if there's scenes that they cut that they realized that they didn't need to cut and they could add back. I don't know. It's
possibly. But this is also the same problem that Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny had, where they went back and did reshoots of, I think, like 6 different endings.
right.
You know, most of which I remember off the top of my head, not all of them. But
Wait, were you in that movie?
I was not. I never did an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, you just know the behind the scenes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because I found out because they filmed 6 different endings for it. The one that we got, you know, one where he disappears and she becomes the new Indiana Jones. One where him and Marion stay back in the past. Another one where he disappears but passes a note to the future to tell Mutt not to join the military and, you know, get killed in Vietnam. And then there was 2 more that I don't remember what they were.
Back to the Future.
There was a Back to the Future one, yeah.
Yeah, but like Back to the Future.
That was the Back to the Future ending, yeah. But then there was 2 more that I don't remember what they were. But
wow.
But yeah, no. But those reshoots again, that's going to kill you on that.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes reshoots do happen. So what happens when you're on a film set? You know, you have your mark of whatever you're going to be doing. So say, for example, I got this pen. You know, I am pen guy. You know, they're going to mark me down as pen guy. And they're going to have, even if they don't ever use it, but every single person that's in a scene, they will mark down what their placement was, what their action was, and what they were wearing. Because if it comes back to a reshoot, this has got to match the first time.
Yeah.
You know. And this is, like I said, what's happening with this movie. This movie is setting itself up to be very possibly the worst and the biggest box office loss in the history of Marvel.
But maybe they will fix their ways and it'll become the best movie of all time.
I don't think so. I have a feeling on this one that this one is not going to make that back because you have to look at $800 to $900 million at least just to break even.
Well, maybe we'll get some amazing cameos and cameos will save the day.
Well, considering, let's say, what did, do I still have it? Okay. Yeah, considering that Deadpool and Wolverine pulled in 1.3 billion, you know, you have to pull in like 400 million less than Deadpool and Wolverine for a franchise that basically for most people, ended with Steve Rogers, B, had a very mid Disney Plus series, and C, a lot of people are like, Sam is not Cap. You know?
Which he is.
He is a Cap by technicality, but everybody's like, you know, hashtag Steve's my Cap.
But, I mean, he is Cap because he's Cap in the comic books. I mean, that's what happened.
But is he Captain when it comes to the box office? Or is that who the eyes are going to see?
See, and I mean, I wish more people read their comic books because they would understand that he becomes Captain America in the comics.
Oh, I know. But it's still, like I said.
I think this is a race thing, and I'm just going to call it out because a lot of people are like, oh, well, why did you change our Steve into somebody else, you know? And you're right. But on the same aspect, a person can't play the character forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Evans ain't getting any younger, and I mean, he wanted to come as Human Torch.
He's already pushing 50 at this point, I think, right?
I don't know. They're probably going to use him until he's 99.
Well, there's talk that you're going to bring him back too, but
there's talk that you're going to bring him back in Secret Wars, which makes sense.
You could basically throw him in as a cameo and have people go, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, no, there's supposed to be a lot of cameos in Secret Wars. I mean, if that ever actually gets released, that movie, you could spend. Actually, that movie you can spend $400 million, and that's going to make you $1 billion off of cameos alone because how much stuff we're supposed to get in Secret Wars.
Yeah, but again, are people really burned out on Marvel stuff now?
Not if you bring back all 3 Spider-Mans like you're supposed to, and there's theories that we're going to have a live-action Miles Morales. I mean, it's the stuff people are requesting. I mean, freaking Spider-Man No Way Home is a good example of when you brought in all 3 Tobys. That movie made $1 billion. Yeah,
but also that had such an anticipation to it of will they, won't they, what are they going to do? Because what's special about that is the difference between, like, say that, I'm going to use Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. You know, okay, cool. We had John Krasinski, you know, as Reed Richards. Yay! We had Charles Xavier as, you know, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Yay! And they just kill him.
That was a big yay.
But the difference here is that you had two Spider-Man actors who hadn't played the role in over 10 years, in one case, close to 15. And the anticipation and the question of, are they going to bring these two back after such a long period of time? That's what the intrigue was. You know, Secret Wars, if you have Chris Evans, it's like, okay, Captain America is being played by somebody else. I mean, could Robert Downey Jr. work with this? Yes, I think he could. And Lord knows for Marvel's sake, they better, considering how much they're paying. But what made Spider-Man special is that it hit different generations of Spider-Man fans. You know, you had my generation who sat there and watched, you know, Tobey Maguire in 2002, you know, September 11th, you know, all this kind of stuff. I was in my 20s at the time. And then you have people, say, 10 years younger than me that grew up on Andrew Garfield. Now those two groups are now older when it comes to seeing No Way Home. So we're seeing we have the chance of seeing our Spider-Man in that movie. And that's what people went to go see.
Or you say your generation. That's my generation too. I grew up with Toby when it came out. I was 5. But
yeah, I was just thinking, dude. See, you're more. I would almost say Andrew Garfield, like teenager Andrew Garfield age.
I grew up with Tobey Maguire way before Andrew because I was because it came out 2001? 2002 for the first one?
Mm.
So when the second one came out, I was around 7. And when the third one came out, I was watching all those movies. If I was in a town, I was in a small town, so we didn't have a movie theater. But I was old enough where Spider-Man 3 came out and seeing like advertisements on milk cartons for Spider-Man 3. And so I grew up with Toby way before Andrew.
Okay.
But fair case because, being 97, born 97, you know, and being 7 to 10 years old as a boy and seeing a superhero on TV, you know, that was my, you know, that. But fun fact, which my mom always tells me this, they brought me to see X-Men when X-Men came in theaters. And I had to leave early because it scared me.
Yeah.
Because at that time, it was advertised as a superhero movie. But
also X-Men, we didn't know what to expect with that movie either.
Right. Which, found out, there's an awesome interview I got to listen to of David Hayes.
Okay.
I think of what his last name is. He's I think he's known as Snake from Full Metal Gears.
Okay. Solid Snake? Oh, no.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
Snake, that's from like the Metal Gears and stuff. He's the voice.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyways.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. He's the one that did the script, and originally he wasn't supposed to do the script, and that's why the first 2 movies he got to do, they didn't. The reason why the third one was so different is he didn't come back for the third one. But yeah, no. But I don't know. I hate that it's failing at box office. This is one movie I will be seeing for sure.
Okay.
That one, I'll still put my faith into Marvel. Sorry, I cannot do that to DC because DC doesn't always give what I want. Unless I may be one of the only ones, but I like the CW TV shows. I need to get caught up on the Superman Lois because Monday night was the first episode of Superman and Lois for the last season. And so yeah. But yeah, well, prayers to Captain America New Orders. Did you put Odor?
I did. New World Odor.
You're terrible.
Yes, I am. Okay. Let me see if I can. Oh, cool. I got a wrinkled cat there.
Regardless.
So.
When is the last time you went to the theater, sir?
Last year.
Oh, what movie?
Yeah, what was it was a soccer movie from Taika Waititi.
Oh.
New York City Football Club invited me and Robin out, and we hung out with the players, we got some free food, and
must be nice. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, I busted my ass for this stuff, man.
All right, what else we got to talk about today?
Okay, so let me see if I can find something here.
Oh, do you have where I gotta guess the movie?
I don't actually have that, and I wish I did. Uh,
Scott's off his game. It's a Wednesday night.
I know.
Have we been getting any comments?
Nah, not yet. We're getting a lot of stuff on Twitter though.
Oh, hi Twitter.
Hi Twitter.
Big tweet.
Oh yes. Okay, I got something for you.
Hey.
Oh boy, this is going to be a tough one for you.
Uh-oh.
So yes, today actually we're going to change that to today in movie history. Okay, let me see what I can do here.
Do I actually know this movie? Is what I'm gonna ask.
You might.
Okay.
Okay, so it is a much maligned martial arts star from the late 80s, early 90s. This was arguably his most famous movie. It did spawn a sequel, in fact, and had also a pre fugitive / Men in Black actor in it.
Is this Rush Hour?
No.
Okay. So I was thinking you were going with Jackie Chan.
No. If it was Jackie Chan, I'd be a lot nicer about this. So,
okay.
Yes, this movie actually received 2 Academy Award nominations, one for sound production, which is honestly meh. Okay. It did have a sequel, which the title also, this movie 2, Dark Territory. This actor is known for his skills in Aikido, which is a martial art which uses predominantly flow of energy. It's actually translates literally to the way of the love of the love of energy by using your opponent's strength against them. This actor has turned into a reality star that has kind of been mocked in a lot of ways. Also has a very large mustache at this point that also has served to be mocked.
It's not Steve Harvey.
No, but you got the right first name. Sort of, mostly. I'll give it to you.
Steve?
He had a ponytail back in the late 90s or later 80s.
Ponytail Steve. And
he was also an action star who was not in the Expendables franchise. Unlike Jean-Claude Van Damme or Chuck Norris or obviously Stallone,
right. Steven Seagal?
What's that?
Steven Seagal.
You got the right actor. Yes, that's correct. And this movie was released in 1992 today, where he played a seaman.
Oh, Under Siege?
There you go, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Under Siege was actually considered to be his top grossing movie of all time, his most well received. Had a $30 million budget, made $156 million in 1992. It was considered his magnum opus, if you will, from that movie to what basically Steven Seagal is now, which is, yeah.
That's great. And you said he's mocked nowadays?
To
be honest, no offense to him, but I haven't actually heard his name mentioned in years.
He has not, shall we say, aged well.
That's Steven Seagal.
That's Steven Seagal now. Actually, here's a really good picture of this. This actually works so much better.
It's kind of like what happened to the actor that played Robin from the 1966 Batman and Robin.
Burt Ward. Yeah, but here's the thing. Burt Ward, the Batman was campy. He had the shorts, okay thing, but it was one of those things that Steven Seagal was the guy who's like.
I'm talking about someone that was like this skinny, and it's now like this big, Yeah.
But I mean, with Steven Seagal, he had a lot of problems because all of his movies, he'd sit there and talk like this, with that whole sort of Dirty Harry thing going on, and as a result, it was never really well received. But back in 1992, 32 years ago today, he had his biggest film, Under Siege.
That's his biggest movie of his career, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. Let me see. What else did he do after that? But it was always interesting because one of the things that Sylvester Stallone always wanted to do when it came to the Expendables franchise is he brought in people that maybe had been out of the limelight a little bit. So you look at some of the cast in there, you had like Dolph Lundgren.
I'm surprised they didn't bring Steven Seagal.
That's what I'm saying. You know, the first one, your main baddie was Eric Roberts, and also had Gary Daniels in there too. Was also, you know, whose star had, you know, dropped a little bit, but he had a lot of good action movies himself. Second one was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Obviously, that was great. Third one, Mel Gibson, who was dealing with all of his issues at the time.
When you brought back Chuck Norris.
Yes. That's why the second one is my favorite too, by the way.
I still love the jokes. This car is the size of my shoe.
Yeah, that movie was great for all of us because that was what we all wanted to see. We knew the first movie had that church scene with him and Bruce Willis and all the rest of them. But you knew if this movie did well, the second one was going to expand on that, and that airport scene was spectacular. I love that scene.
What I love about the franchise is the fact that they made a cameo with Arnold being in the first one, just that quick little second, and that was he did an interview before was saying that was a favor to Stallone. Stallone asked for a favor at that time, said, "Hey, can you make a quick cameo in my movie?" And he said, "Yeah, no, you know, no worries, Sly," or whatever. But I'm happy that, you know, me being a huge Arnold fan, I don't like the first one as much because I like Arnold. But when it comes to the second one, you get Arnold almost the entire movie, and then you get him a little in the third one, and they kind of, you know, lead away. But I did like that we got in the third one we got the
Kelsey Grammer's in that, Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. I was about to mention Spy Kids. But yeah, Antonio Banderas came out in the third one. So that's what I always liked about the franchise, because in a way you could kind of call those movies cameos of your childhood. You know, you're bringing back actors that, like you said, or they brought Bruce Willis.
For the first two, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad what's happening to Bruce Willis right now. That's got to suck. You
know, but no argument there. But yeah, the first movie teased what the second movie was going to be. And the first movie, you know, is sort of forgettable because, I mean, Eric Roberts was in there, and like I said, Gary Daniels. But most people remember the second one for being what it was. You know, which was every like 80 and 90s kid growing up being like, this is what I want. Even down to the fact that Jean-Claude Van Damme could still do the split kick like 20 some odd 30 years later. He could still bring it. And the only reason he did it was fan service, and it worked.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about the kick that they do to Liam Nelson's character?
That split kick at the end of the movie, that was Jean-Claude Van Damme's signature move. Yeah. That split kick, he did it in Time Cop, he did it in Bloodsport, you know, he did it in Kickboxer. So that kick was so iconic that the fact that they did it here, fans were like, yes. Because a lot of, you know, during that scene, a lot of us were sitting there watching this thinking, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Please, I really hope he does it. And he did it twice. And it's like, okay, you know, it might have not have been as pristine as it was 30 years prior, but he could still do it. And that's what made all of us happy. So between that and like Stallone sitting there, you know, using the Rocky style of fighting that he was using, it was just like, it was so well done. And then the third one was like, because it was a brand new cast. And the fourth one was just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, even
Davion hated it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I haven't seen the fourth one, to be honest. But when it comes to the second one, when I met Chuck Norris at Dallas Fan Expo like years ago, I got to ask him, I said, so what is your favorite Chuck Norris joke? Mm-hmm. I always like telling people, he said there is no jokes now. But no, his favorite joke is the one from Expendables about he got bit by a rattlesnake. And after
King Cobra, and then, after 3 days, the Cobra died. Nice.
Yeah, Cobra dies. Yeah, no, and because it took him a second. Because I asked him, I said, so out of all the Chuck Norris jokes, what's your favorite? It took him about a minute. And then he's like, the Expendables one. So
it's funny. I remember there was a sports show with, I think it was Chris Eisen. Tom Arnold was in it too. It's called The Best Damn Sports Show, period. Hey. What's that? Yeah. And they had Chuck Norris on there. And Chuck Norris was reading the Chuck Norris facts on air. You know, about he doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. You know, him and Mr. T punched each other. The result was the 1970s. You know.
He once peed on a semi, and to this day, it's known as Optimus Prime.
Wait, what's that again?
It said one day he peed on a semi, and to this day, it's known as Optimus Prime.
That was a new one. I never heard that one before. So
I've known that one. I may have butchered a little bit, but that's been a joke that I've known for at least 10 to 15 years. So it's not.
No, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I got Scott a new one. Yeah, you can probably look up Chuck Norris Optimus Prime joke.
But I forgot to put this in. I got to go back to this for a sec. We talked about the Joker 2 being a musical and everything.
Yes.
It is not the first time that the Joker has been in a musical in a movie.
It's been in a musical in a movie. Live action movie?
Yeah, live action. You'll never get it.
Is this something back in like the 30s or 40s?
No, it's been going back a few decades, but it's actually not in the US. In the Philippines, there was something called Elias, Batman, and Robin.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Okay, can we talk about how like accurate the Penguin looks?
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, technically, I mean, the Joker's always liked music, like when they the Jack Nicholson as the Joker when
the
he's
dancing, yeah,
with the boombox.
Yes.
He didn't sing, but he's always been a musical character. So in a way, it made sense, you know. Just they needed probably the biggest reason why everybody's hating on this movie is I know what you said that James Gunn posted on his social media, at least that's what the article said, but there was not you go watch Joker 2 trailer, and yeah, it totally told you it was going to be a musical. I mean, everywhere in the trailer tells you it's going to be a musical. I mean, that's your biggest issue is you needed to advertise it as a musical. And then people would be knowing what they're saying instead of going in here. Wait, why are they singing? Wait, this is a musical? What the heck am I watching? And then
at this point, everybody knows it's a musical, though. So, but that's also part of the reason why it's $200 million, because musicals take so much longer to do.
I get that, but no, there's still people that went and watched this weekend that did not know it was a musical, and that's been one of the biggest complaints too, because it hasn't been advertised as a musical. Now, thankfully, yes, you have social media like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube that has helped spread the word it's a musical. But there are still people seeing it that are like, wait, why am I watching a musical? Why is this a musical?
But you know what? Here's the thing. That's not always a bad thing. When South Park the movie came out, we didn't know it was a musical. And it was awesome. You know, we had no idea what we were walking into when we saw that movie in theaters. And then, you know, Stan belts out, "There's a bunch of birds in the sky." And we're like, oh. From that opening line, we suddenly realized this whole thing is a musical. And we were okay with it because South Park pulled it off.
But with the music, did it help move the story along?
Oh, very much so.
That's the issue with this one. People are saying it's slowing down the movie. It's not anything for the movie is the biggest issue too. Yes, you can have musical pieces, but help them move the story along or make a reason why you have a song there. That's another issue.
Sure.
Is what everybody's saying is the music that they don't have a problem with the song. They have a problem with it not moving the story along and it basically slowing down the movie. And what's this movie like? 2 hours and 21 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah. 247, I thought maybe.
Oh, see, that's another issue. You made the movie a little too long.
I'm sorry, 218. You were right.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, 218 isn't bad, but it's not great.
It's not. You're right. And see, there's a reason why horror movies kind of do good. Is because they're normally at the 90-minute mark. You can get in and out. You know what you're dealing with. yes, there are other movies that you want to spend, like I didn't see Oppenheimer in theaters, but I know a lot of people, they went and saw Oppenheimer. That was like a 3-hour movie, and it caught their attention so much that they didn't need to get up and stuff and, go use the restroom. But with this movie, people are like, is it time to leave yet?
Yeah.
So,
and that's where a lot of people had complaints. It actually in some ways felt boring. And obviously the complaint of by the way, this spoiler, the deconstruction of the character, where it's going back to Arthur again and not being the full embrace of the Joker, which was at the end of the first movie.
Right. And it's funny, spoilers, but if you listen to the court scene, which is in the trailer, but if you actually listen to what they're saying, it's things the fans criticized about the first movie. So it's literally a whole movie of showing why he didn't want to make another movie.
Yeah. And that's where maybe he's auditioning to start. If he wants to stop doing comedy, which apparently he does, maybe this is also his audition tape to do musicals. Because he can showcase that he can do a musical, and maybe that's where he wants his career to go. So maybe he's going to start pushing in that direction.
But if it's not a successful movie, are they really going to want to? I mean, I don't think he'd get a high enough budget. I mean, like my biggest issue is it's like if I was a film person, yes, I understand Joker 1 made $1 billion, but if I saw this, I may not want to give him $200 million. Because I feel like and when you guys say you're giving him $200 million, that doesn't mean he's getting $200 million.
No.
He has $200 million to work with, and he pays himself what he wants, correct?
Yeah, or he gets a negotiated deal of it too, and residuals. Now, I just looked it up. Greatest Showman was an $84 million budget.
Okay.
Les Mis was 61.
Okay, what did Greatest Showman make in box office? Do you know?
Greatest Showman crushed. I don't know what the exact number was on that, but
which I know you told me back
459 on an 84.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, you told me that they originally didn't think that movie was going to make money because you guys were facing something popular movie at that time that came out that same exact weekend, like a DC or Marvel movie.
2017. I don't know what came out that weekend. I mean, I wasn't sure because it was a Christmas movie. Because it came out literally right around Christmas.
Because me and you, I remember chatted, and you were saying that there was something that was competing with you. It may have been No, you said Christmas. I was gonna say it may have been Logan, but Logan came out on my birthday in 2017.
No, well, Logan he had to pause production of Greatest Showman to promote Logan because he'd already filmed Logan at that point. So we shut down production for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So he can do like the TV tour.
There's some kind of superhero movie or something that came out that same weekend as Greatest Showman, because I remember, like I said, and then it ended up crushing box office, like you said.
Yes. Shape of Water, Jumanji came out that back in 2017 also.
Maybe that's what it was. Jumanji came out that same weekend?
Yeah. Thor Ragnarok was still... Star Wars Episode 8 Last Jedi was at that time.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was Star Wars.
Yeah, okay.
Thought that Star Wars was going to crush the box office and make it where Greatest Showman wasn't going to make money.
Actually, it did. I was going to say, actually, it did make money. It was not ultimately well received because it kind of ultimately destroyed the entire franchise. But, but Greatest Showman, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't sure about that because going up against Episode 8, the way Episode 7, I remember this conversation now. Yeah, because it was 2 years removed from Episode 7.
It's back in the day when I interviewed Scott before I was part of Street Punk.
Yeah, we're back when you were just a teenager. You were just a kid back then. Hey,
I want to interview you.
Yeah, but that's right, because actually that's when it came out. But yeah, Greatest Showman, $84 million is a very easy budget to do with a musical like that. Now, I don't remember who the director was, but the director had done Broadway. Yeah. So if you gave $100 million to Todd Phillips to do some kind of a musical, I'm pretty sure he can pull it off. I think this was an audition tape for him to do musicals.
They'll be like, okay, well, we're not going to give you $200 million. We may give you $100 million. See what you can do with that. 100,
125. Yeah. Something with a popular franchise in there. You throw in some Instagram or some singers in there. Lady Gaga, obviously. I don't know, Lizzo or something. You throw in some bodies in there. Healy Seattle, whatever her name was.
Jet Black. just put him in there.
But like I said, you can make, this, maybe that's what he was going for. Maybe he's pushing 2025 that way.
I will say, when it comes to The Greatest Showman, I know we're not talking about The Greatest Showman, but when it comes to that, I still listen to the soundtrack all day, and the soundtrack is just killer. I mean, that's what made me watch the movie, is I listened to probably The Other Side at least 50 times before even watching the movie. Not watching the scene, they had like these animal faces where you could turn your face into like a monkey and stuff. And that's how they were talking back and forth. And I'm like, man, the vocals of Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron. I was like, what is this movie? Oh, it's The Greatest Showman. Let's go watch it. And I enjoyed the movie.
We heard those songs day in and day out for months. And we didn't mind. Here's the thing, we didn't mind. Because on our side, we were up in the rafters. My group was up in the rafters. But me, Rich Haas, Andrew, Anthony Gangiana, all of these people, Chris Spurrier, all these people that we had already known each other for years together, and we're suddenly basically hanging out 3, 4, 5 times a week. It was a great nucleus for a couple of months there, and we were in the same filming location. We ate lunch together. It was a really nice group setting because, again, we all just kind of just ended up together after spending years together, and it was really, really nice that way. I was very grateful for that.
How was that?
I never talked to him, but I remember I never talked to him. Zendaya I never spoke to. I mean, some of the freaks I did, like the identical twins I did. And I talked to
Mr. Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he was cool. Yeah,
that one I saw.
But yeah, for that, Michelle Williams. I mean, it was, like I said, it was a good experience. It got the health insurance and paid us a lot of money. Yeah. The smoke wasn't too great underneath the tent. I'm going to give you that. But there were so many things that we saw that you guys will never get a chance to see. And I wasn't allowed to record any of them, obviously, for privacy reasons. But, dude, it was like a museum in there.
Right. Were you there at the time when they almost had the other kid that almost replaced Zac Efron? The one that was the vocalist for Hugh Jackman?
I don't know that one. That's not my department.
I can't think of what his name is. But Jordan... I can't think of his name. Anyways, he's a Broadway musical person, and he was he thought he was going to get the role of what Zac Efron's character. And he helped save the show because that's when Hugh Jackman had surgery on his nose. You probably saw that video, the one where he wasn't supposed to sing, but then he did. And then that's when it was determined that then they're like, Zac Efron's getting that. But
nice. Anyway. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it was a really cool experience. It's hard to believe it's been almost 8 years at this point. That's the weird thing.
Original musicals like that.
Well, that's maybe what Todd Phillips is going to be going for.
Okay, well, if you can make me original musical and the story's good, like The Greatest Showman, I'll support you.
Yeah, maybe he'll do Moana, the live action. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But, all right, we should probably wrap this up at this point.
Yeah. Do we have any other topics, or was that it?
I don't really have anything else at this point. I have some stuff I can save for next week, but
well, I mean, it's spooky season, so we should probably do some spooky stuff next week.
Ooh, yeah, we should probably, So.
And I think there's some interviews from last year that we could probably post during this time.
Probably could, yes.
Yeah.
With some horror spooky people.
Yeah.
Ooh. Cast members and directors of certain Terrifier films.
Ooh.
So thank you, Austin. Thank you to you and Austin for that one.
Yes.
So, all right, gentlemen, or gentleman.
But okay, guys. Well, I'm Robert, and that's Scott, and this is Tales from the